$1,200. That's how much bigger a mid-career paycheck can get the month a service member deploys to a combat zone. And almost none of it shows up in the recruiter's pitch. Here's the strange part. One line on that deployed paycheck isn't a payment at all. It's what the government suddenly stops taking from you, and for most troops it's the single biggest number on the whole stack.
I'm Erica, and let's be precise about where that money comes from. There are extra checks here with names most people never learn. Danger Pay, a separation allowance, hardship pay, and then a tax break sitting quietly on top of all of it.
Most troops never learn half of these until the orders are already cut. So before yours drop, let's make sure you know exactly what a deployment is worth, one check at a time.
Think of your normal paycheck as a floor. By definition, deploying doesn't lower it, it only adds. And the exact number that swings the most isn't a special pay at all. It's the Combat Zone Tax Exclusion.
Fenrir here, and one question first. Free money usually has a catch, so where's this one? There's a guaranteed 10% savings program that only exists while you're deployed. 10% guaranteed on up to $10,000.
That's the hook. But here's the honest warning we'll keep coming back to all episode. This money is temporary. The fastest way to waste a deployment is to spend it like the raise is never going to end.
This one's been sitting in the comments all week, so let me just read it. If I deploy, is any of this extra pay actually tax-free, and how much really lands? Short answer, yes, a lot of it, and by the end you'll have the real figure for your rank.
Everything we break down here, the current pay tables and a deployment calculator, is free over at military.professorerica.com. Now, to where the checks start. The two that hit the day you land.
Start with the check that defines a combat deployment. It's called Imminent Danger Pay, and the exact number is $225 a month.
Danger Pay. I love this one. It's the simplest check in the military. Flat $225 a month. Always has been. You're in the zone, you get the check.
Wrong. It stopped being flat over a decade ago.
Okay, it's correct, and I hate it. Fine, walk them through it properly, Emma.
Here's the nuance Leo skipped. It's $7.50 a day now, capped at that $225. But exposure to actual hostile fire can trigger the full month at once, no daily math.
Now the second check, and this one is for families, Family Separation Allowance. $300 a month, anytime you're kept from your dependents more than 30 straight days on orders.
And the exact detail almost everyone misses. That $300 is brand new. The 2026 defense bill raised it from $250, the first increase since 2002.
One question first. What about the rough location pay? Hardship Duty Pay runs $50, $100, or $150 a month by location. But the premise people have is wrong. Draw Danger Pay too, and hardship is capped at $100.
And if your job is dangerous by trade, it keeps stacking. Flight pay, jump pay, dive pay, demolition pay, they layer right on top. That $750 a day danger check is just the front door. Let me pause for just a second, because this genuinely helps. If you are getting value here, hit that like button, then subscribe and ring the bell. It costs you nothing, and it is the single biggest thing that keeps these videos coming. So the checks are landing. Now the real question, the one that decides whether a deployment changes your life or just your weekend. What do you actually do with the money? Erica leans on the guaranteed floor. Fenrir won't touch a dime until the debt's gone. Let's get into it.
Start with the one move nobody can argue with. The Savings Deposit Program. 10% guaranteed on up to $10,000. There is nothing else in American finance that pays that. It's a floor, not a bet.
Before you build on that, here's a case neither of you mentioned. The young troop who doesn't have $10,000 to spare. Where should their first dollar go?
One question first. Any credit card debt?
Fair hit, and it reorders everything. Erica, does the debt come before your guaranteed 10?
It does, and that's the honest order. A 24% card beats a 10% program every time. Kill high-interest debt first, then feed the guaranteed 10.
Where I'd put real money is the long game, Roth thrift savings plan with tax-free combat pay, compounding for decades untouched. Fenrir, push back on that, hard.
Happily, the premise is wrong for someone who's shaky. Locking cash in retirement while your one emergency from a payday loan isn't a strategy, it's a trap. Emergency cash comes first.
So pin it down for the viewer, one number. How many months of expenses in cash before you lock anything away?
3 to 6 months in a real account you can reach. Both things are true here. The guaranteed 10 is genius, and it's useless if you have to borrow it back at 20%.
So there's your order. Emergency cash, then high-interest debt, then the guaranteed 10, then the Roth. And whatever you choose, remember it all ends when the deployment ends. Don't inflate a life you can't fund back home.
So add it up. A pile of separate checks is easy to underestimate. One question first, what's the single biggest gain from deploying? Take a guess.
I'd guess the separation allowance. $300 a month is the fattest single check on the board.
Reasonable guess, and wrong, which is the fun part. Let me build the stack the way I set up a chessboard at lunch, one piece at a time, then show you what's actually winning. Start with the fixed special pays, the ones with set dollar amounts. Danger Pay, $225. Family Separation, $300. Hardship Pay, call it $100 once the Danger Pay cap kicks in. Add those three and you're at $625 a month, every month, on top of base pay. That's the number most troops stop counting at, and stopping there is exactly the mistake, because none of those three is the biggest thing happening to your paycheck.
And there it is, the line I promised you up top, the one that isn't a check at all. Every one of those pays in a combat zone is tax-free. But Emma's about to land the twist.
For a mid-career sergeant, the federal tax you simply stop paying is often bigger than all three special pays combined. $625 in checks, and the tax break can top that by itself.
Hold on, the invisible one is the big one?
The invisible one is the big one. Both things are true here, the checks are real and the tax break is bigger. For most troops, the Combat Zone Tax Exclusion is the #1 financial gain of deploying. Wait until you see how it works, that's coming up next. Take one real month, start to finish. Meet Ray, a sergeant, an E6 with a family, deployed to a designated combat zone for the full month. I actually work these out loud on my long walks, line by line, because that's the only way the real number ever sticks. So let's walk Ray's month down to what actually hits the account.
Start with Danger Pay, $225 on top.
Then the separation allowance, because his family is home without him, $300 more.
Add hardship pay for the location, capped at $100 because he's already drawing danger pay. That's $625 in special pays alone.
And now the quiet giant. On an E6 base pay of about $4,000, the federal tax he'd normally owe, call it $500 a month, simply vanishes in a combat zone.
Wait, $500 a month, just gone?
Just gone. Add it up and Ray is pocketing about $1,100 more this month and his base pay never changed. That's the swing entirely on top of what he already earned. Now the big one, the reason that deployed check swells. And remember that $750 a day danger check from earlier, in a combat zone, even that rides home completely tax-free.
The rule has a name, the Combat Zone Tax Exclusion. By definition, military pay you earn in a designated combat zone is excluded from your federal income tax. And for enlisted troops, the exact rule is stunning. All of it. Every dollar of base pay, no cap, for any month you set foot in the zone.
Here's the part that feels almost unfair. A single day counts. Set foot in the zone on the 31st of the month and the whole month's pay comes out tax-free.
Fenrir, you've had that look for a minute. It's the officer question, right? Put it to us.
Yes. For an officer, is combat pay really all tax-free, or is there a cap on it?
You're right to press it, and you caught the one place I oversimplified. Officers are capped. Their exclusion stops at the top enlisted pay rate plus danger pay, a bit over $10,000 a month. Above that, an officer does pay tax.
And it reaches further than base pay. A re-enlistment bonus signed in the zone, your special pays, all of it can ride in tax-free under the same rule.
One catch before we bank it. This is a federal break only. Your state might still tax you, though many states exempt combat pay entirely, so check yours. Last stop, and the best-kept secret of the whole stack. 2 moves that turn deployment pay into lasting money.
To get these exactly right, we called someone who coaches troops deploying to places like Camp Lemonnier in Djibouti, one of the busiest hubs out there.
Happy to help. Move 1 is the savings deposit program. 10% guaranteed on up to $10,000.
10% guaranteed? Nothing pays that.
Nothing else does. You qualify after 30 days deployed. It's federal law, 10 U.S.C. 1035.
And how long does the 10% run?
Even better, the interest keeps paying 90 days after you're home. Free money on the way out the door.
Move 2, the thrift savings plan. Put tax-free pay in the traditional side. No, I had that backwards. The Roth. Roth is tax-free going in and tax-free coming out.
Exactly. Tax-free pay into a Roth is the rare double win. Nothing taxed on the way in, nothing on the way out.
One question first. What's the downside nobody says out loud?
It ends. Deployment pay stops the day you come home. Bank it, don't build a lifestyle on it.
That's the honest catch right there. Thanks for walking us through it.
My pleasure. Do the 2 moves, treat every extra dollar as temporary, and a single deployment can set you up for years. Thanks for having me on.
Do both. Max the guaranteed 10 first, then feed the Roth with combat pay. Best deal in the military, and it's gone the day you land.
Quick landing. Deploying can add over $1,000 a month, but the biggest gain isn't a check, it's the tax you stop paying, and the smartest move is the guaranteed 10% weighting in the SDP.
Here's your one move tonight, and it costs you nothing. If orders are coming, you go look up the savings deposit program now, so the day you hit 30 days deployed, your $10,000 is already earning 10% for you.
Next time we pull apart the one deployment mistake that quietly costs families thousands, the allowances you forget to restart the day you come home.
And the premise I'll leave you with, free money is only free if it's still there when the deployment ends. Bank it.
My favorite moment today was Leo confidently guessing the wrong biggest check on camera. The invisible one wins.
If this made the deployed paycheck finally make sense, hit like, it helps another troop find it. Subscribe, and we keep these pay numbers current every single year because they change, and the one only you can answer. Would you bank the whole deployment or send some home to family first? Tell us below. Aim for the stars and pack a backup plan because both get you there. Catch you next time.
Calling that a 9, Leo? I wanted to give it a 10, but my notes have 3 tiny critiques. This is Professor Erica. Thanks for watching and signing off.